Hello, Melissa and Scott. Today is Monday, which means it's video day! Why aren't you more excited? You should be excited. I'm excited. I'm also just excited because today being Monday means that last week is over. Thank goodness. It was kind of rough for several different reasons. I did have to kind of pull together a Zumba class in a day, but I had people help me out with that, so it turned out being okay. I just need to practice a lot. In order to pass my psychology of education class, I have to meet a certain minimum of practicum hours, and so I have to be observing in schools for 25 hours over the quarter, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you skip your days a month in a row, then it kind of comes on all at once, which means that I was actually at the schools 2 days last week, and I was in a whole bunch of different classrooms. I started just in kindergarten, but I also went to first grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, and I really, really like fifth grade, actually. We made monsters. I should show you my monster. Ah! This is my monster! I got to make that with the fifth graders because they made their own monsters before going to teach the kindergartners how to go make monsters. And the thing I learned about fifth grade is that it can kind of be the best of both worlds, because I wanted to teach high school English and be like, symbolism! Or I wanted to teach kindergartners and be like, yay, kindergarten! But fifth grade can kind of be the best of both worlds because you get to do both. You get to play and you get to teach higher stuff. They were turning in a creative writing assignment that linked to their social studies unit when I was there. It was super cool. I wanted to read them. So maybe Megan could teach fifth grade. See, the only thing is, to do that, I would have to finish out my major in education, which means I have to pass all of the required courses, and there are many. And while that shouldn't really be an issue, it might turn into one because I may or may not have flunked my midterm. Actually. Also, I got a D on a paper I turned in, which has never happened to me before. And I found this out on Friday, which was a good day until then. The feedback I got was that all of my information was right, but I wasn't really answering the questions, which means that I'm not being clear in my writing. So anyway, I was thinking, if I can't pass this education class and I just don't do college, because I really don't think it's for me most of the time, I have a couple of options. According to CareerCast.com, some jobs that don't require a college degree include hygienist, mechanic, bookkeeper, construction, electrician, glazier, whatever that is. I think they install windows, hairstylist, paralegal assistant, pest control worker, plumber, receptionist, and web developers. All do not necessarily have to have college degrees. Granted, most of them do require some kind of post-secondary training, and most of them don't really make a lot of money. It's okay, Melissa and Scott, I'm going to need you to support me, because then I won't have to go to college anymore! Woo! In other news, in playwriting we read the one act that we turned in. For this one act, instead of doing all new material, I adapted a short story that I wrote last year into screenplay form. I was really, really nervous about this. There is so much that you can do with short story that is inside somebody's head, and there's so much that goes on mentally that you can use to explain context and background that won't necessarily come out of somebody's mouth when they're seeing somebody that they haven't seen in a really, really long time, like what was happening in my story. And I forgot some kind of minor but important stuff, I forgot to say that Spark was a nickname for the character and not his given name, and I forgot to mention that he liked coffee, which is kind of horrible. Obviously, liking coffee is one of the major defining parts of a person. So, sorry, Sparky, I'll fix it in revision! I guess my other concern was that it took my classmates kind of a lot of prompting to figure out all that had gone on in the play and what the play was encompassing, because it was a lot of information to take in, and it all made sense once you figured it out. And there was this moment after my professor had asked all these questions when everybody in the class just went, oh, and they all got it. But the thing is, they either weren't interested enough in the characters to really think about it and come to that conclusion on their own, or that was too vague without that extra prompting. And if it was too vague without that extra prompting, it means that I need to look at it again and see what I can do as foreshadowing or whatever without being too heavy-handed. Because a play or a story isn't supposed to tell you what it's about, it's supposed to make you a witness to what it's about. And I think my classmates were witnessing but not really understanding, which is a problem and makes me wonder if my play is kind of like my education midterm, where all of my information is right, but it's not answering the questions. I suppose rather than making a 7-minute video explaining all of my troubles, I could have summed it up in the results of my education midterm made me reconsider and reevaluate my entire life and whether or not I am suited to be collegiate. Basically, I had a repeat of the I can't do this meltdown from earlier in this term, except with actual evidence as to why I can't do this. And I know this video isn't super happy, fun, and cheery, which is too bad because I was going to make a video about Ready Whip, but I'm always going to make a video about Ready Whip and usually just end up eating the Ready Whip before it's actually time to film the video. So that's too bad. Speaking of eating, I think it's about time for one of these. Y'all have heard me talk enough. I hope your weeks are good. I hope you know that I love you and that most of this video was sarcastic, except for the flunking my midterm and reconsidering my life and not being able to write cohesively and blah 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 sad story. That part was all true. However, I don't think I'm going to become a glazier. Better luck on your midterms, kids.